And here we are with Artcasters Chat 6. And we're rebelling against our leaders, so Jeff isn't around. I'm guessing that he couldn't get his computer set up, and hopefully we'll hear from him tomorrow. Hey, here's Marshall. Hey.
Hey, I'm in with my phone. Weird.
Awesome.
Kind of super awesome. So now I'm in. But I'm on a call with,
Groovy.
who's this again? I should know this.
I'm John.
John. I thought it was, I recognize your voice, but usually you're John digitally, right?
Yeah. Actually, I will be here in a second.
So John is having a hard time getting into the chat.
Yeah, I don't have
And so was I until I just tried with my phone.
John. Well, make sure John says yes to watching in the event page. Hey, this is Kristen.
Yeah, sorry, I'm in the middle of doing 100 different things. I might possibly be getting a job opportunity right now, so I'm kind of multitasking.
Okay. Marshall, which John?
The one who's usually drawing digitally, his comic.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, let me invite him in. I know too many Johns.
We should have just waited just a little bit longer to go live.
Oh, is it live?
Yeah, we'll later.
At first it was just the three of us. Now people are starting to, I guess, show up.
Yeah. Well, this is how Hangouts begin on good old G+. Hey, John, you're in? Oh, he's getting set up.
Hello, I'm in now.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey.
I
All
guess,
right,
can you send me like an invite too or something? Because I think I want to do it on my computer, not on my phone.
Oh, okay. Is it your other profile? Let's see.
Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, we hear it a lot better now.
Okay.
You know what? I'll just stick with the phone. That's fine.
It's giving me an error message for some
That
stupid
way I
reason.
can work on my comic.
We can hear you good.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well.
All right, Marshall. Okay, so let's do introductions. A lot of us have been here before, but Andrew, you're new.
I'm new.
Yes.
So I'm
Welcome.
Andrew Jones. Thank you. I generally go by Atlanta Jones on the web, and that's really for no other reason than try to get a username when your name is Andrew Jones. I might as well be John Smith. So I'm pretty much Atlanta Jones everywhere, Twitter, Facebook, wherever. I'm a full-time web developer. I've been doing that for almost 18 years, but I've been an artist all my life, so just trying to get better.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming, and hope you enjoy your stay.
Thank you.
We'll leave the
light. And we have John with us tonight.
Heyo.
Hey.
I'm John Grzeski, aka Zomberai. I do Everyday Abnormal, the webcomic, and I come here and chat with fine people like this.
Welcome again. And we have Kristen.
Hello, hello.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm an amateur right now. I'm trying to go pro, but just trying to get into art school right now. I'm gonna try to apply in October. This coming up October. I'm working on a zine of mini comics called I Swallowed a Fly, and it's going along rather nicely. And other than that, I'm just basically practicing and trying to get as skilled as I can.
Cool. Well, thanks again for coming.
No problem.
And we have Marshall, I think.
Yes,
Okay.
we do. I'm just
Setting
running
up.
around the house trying to find an extension cord, which I can do since I'm on my phone doing this. So, yeah, I'm Marshall, and I make comics and music, and you can find all that at donkeyjawprojects.com.
Awesome. And we have Scott with us again.
Hey, I'm Scott Circlin. My company's called CircWorks, and I do robots, zombies, aliens, and other imminent threats to humanity. I do comic books and a bunch of stuff, but yeah. But if you want to find me, I'm at circworks.com, and CircWorks all over the interwebs. So.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming in. And I am your host, Peter Palmiotti, and I am Human Art Studio, and I do comics, podcasts, blogs, YouTube videos, and now hangouts, apparently.
And this is apparently the first ever Jeff Less Artcast.
That's right. We're minus Jeff tonight. I sent him messages, but you know he's usually here before these things start up. So unfortunately, you know he's not around tonight, and we'll see what happens throughout the week. So you know he was having computer problems and everything.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping it'd like sort itself out. Like, you know, he'd figure out what was wrong with the computer and be able to fix it or something. But that sucks.
Yeah, I know he was going to an earlier date on his computer, which is like if you have to resort to that, then that's usually bad news.
Yeah, I've done that though, and had it fixed. So you never know.
Yeah, but yeah. So he's here in spirit. He's watching everything you're doing. So be careful with you.
That's making it sound vaguely like he's dead, which is worrying me. He's here in spirit. He's watching over us.
Yeah, I'm a little creeped out.
Right. So. I have no immediate topics off the top of my head. Does anybody want to start off the conversation?
I guess I have a question, something I've been dealing with, that since everyone else here does, you know, YouTube videos and everything. So I posted a couple like just long form drawings where just me kind of, you know, just drawing, just focusing on the drawing instead of me personally. And I shot it with my webcam, which I think is a pretty decent webcam. But I was doing mostly inking, which showed up fine, but my pencils, they didn't show up very well, and they are kind of, you know, they're blue lines, so I don't expect them to show up great, but it just looked real fuzzy, and I'm wondering if it would help if I shot it with my phone, or, I mean, what do people use, you know, what do people use to, because I see people all the time on YouTube, you know, doing sketches and everything looks really good, but the quality of mine didn't look that great, so I don't know if there's something I'm missing, or...
You said it looked fuzzy. Is it an autofocus issue?
You know what? Maybe it is, because, I mean, my hands are there, so it could be focusing on my hands instead of the drawing. I'm wondering. First I thought it was lighting, so I added some lighting. But yeah, I even tried to re-upload the whole thing in like super high def and everything, which took forever, and it didn't look any better, so I'm sure part of that...
You trying to videotape yourself drawing?
Yeah.
Is it just in pencils specifically? Is that where you're having the
Well,
problem?
it started off
like
with
almost
pencils.
nobody can get pencils going good.
What's that?
It seems almost like almost nobody can really get pencils
Really?
good.
Okay.
It really mostly works better when you're inking.
Yeah, well, that's what I did mostly. You know, I already had a pencil sketch, and I just started inking, but I just thought the pencil sketch would show up a little better than it did, but I don't know, maybe that's just the way it is. But it seems like I've seen videos where people are, you know, they're drawing on paper and it looks fine, so I don't know.
I've been doing.
I might also check and see how well your webcam does contrast, because if you can get something that has a higher contrast, that's kind of my first thought, because you're kind of working against the pencil is going to be pretty light against the white paper, and if you don't have a good definition with that separates contrast really well, I can see where the pencil will just get swallowed up by it.
Okay.
That's just my first thought off the top of my head.
Yeah, I've been doing pencils on gray paper, and I've been shooting it with my iPhone. I did one last night, and I was just doing like the initial sketch on a really light pencil, and at least from what I could see on the iPhone screen, it looked like it was showing up. But then again, I have this new arm thing on. Probably can see it, but this little arm that kind of comes out over my my drafting table, and the paper and the phone are probably that far away from each other.
Yeah, I put mine pretty close. Mine are, you know, I don't know, about the same, I think. I just built this little thing out of PVC and attached my camera to it, so it's pretty close, but I don't know.
And this is white paper?
What's that? Yeah, just white Bristol paper. And it is blue line pencil, so I'm not expecting it to show up, but I don't think it's so much that it's not showing up, it's that it looks kind of fuzzy, the actual picture quality, so I don't know. I just know I've seen videos of people drawing all the time, and it doesn't, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, it's weird.
Camera stuff and video editing, it seems like I do a lot of stuff with like music, and I mean you guys you do Photoshop and stuff, and I mean I've worked in so many different kind of mediums, but video, it seems like a whole other beast. It's tough. It's like more complicated, I think.
Yeah.
I always have issues. Same thing, like with the camera, the focus, all that stuff, but then when you go to edit it, sometimes the quality changes too, and you have to know what the settings are, and they're really not easy to figure out.
That's why I figured I'd ask. I figure somebody else has probably got it down to a science by now, but.
No, we're all still learning. You know, when I scan a piece, when it's just pencils, I usually like darken it as much as I could possibly darken it without losing the quality of the picture. You know, like just regular pencils showing up come out really light. So even scanning, I try to darken it. As far as camera, and I have to adjust every time I do a piece because it never comes in perfectly, it seems. So this is something we can all look into. I know, like, most of what Jeff does is on colored paper, so it shows up better.
So you think it is the contrast then? Because yeah, I mean, if most of these I'm just going to do as sketches, so maybe I can switch over to like a gray paper and see how that works, you know? Maybe like a red pencil on gray or something instead of the blue line on white.
You know, actually, I thought of what if you used a red pencil just on regular white paper? That might show up better.
Yeah, I might. I mean, these past ones, it was like I said, it was mostly me inking. So, Marshall, did you say you watched one of my videos? I thought you commented.
I watched the fan art one you just
The
did.
Star-Lord one?
Yeah.
Did the pencils, did it look real bad, or, I mean...
To tell you the truth, I don't really remember, because,
Okay.
you know, I watched a lot of the inking, but like you said, and like I do with like Jeff Lafferty's, you know, I kind of look more than I watch.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Over.
I watched it, and I could see what was there, but it wasn't like crystal clear.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's for inking. Maybe that's better because then you're more surprised when you actually go over it. I don't know. I just
Hey Scott, if you look at my screen, I've got a screenshot up of what I drew last night. That's exactly as my iPhone shot it, and that's fairly light pencils.
Yeah, that's clear.
I'd be happy with that. That
Yeah,
looks good.
yeah. It looks like it was weird because when you first put it up, it looked kind of sharp, and then it went kind of fuzzy. And I don't know if that's a focus thing or what. I mean, not real fuzzy. I mean, I could still see it fine.
Yeah, because that might be part of Google Hangouts doing something wacky. But yeah, and I don't know. Like, I would assume if this was white paper, it would probably show up even more. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I think it's probably a combination of. So for this, I've got the iPhone. I think when I was shooting this, I actually had the iPhone's light turned on. Its flashlight was turned on, and I had my light on my drafting table on. The light on the iPhone actually kind of diffuses the shadows from my other light. That's about the only reason I used it. But yeah, I don't know. It's a tricky one. I wonder if there's a way to, like, in software or something, to lock down the autofocus on your camera. That's probably like the worst thing, because like, you've got this. Trying to turn off screen sharing, it's like the hardest thing to do. You've got these things, fairly close together, and your hand is like between them. It's like it's fighting. There's two fighting for focus, like, constantly. The iPhone does it occasionally, but it seems to do a better job with it.
Maybe I'll just try one with the iPhone. I don't have I got to figure out a way to rig that up. I got a little iPod stand that I can hook it into, but it doesn't help when it's like facing down, because it'll just fall off. If it has to be kind of straight up, and it'll fit right in there. But I'm sure I can get some kind of a clamp or something that I can adjust to the right size, or some kind of way to hold it and try that out. But
I just got this flexible arm off of Amazon for like $15. It works really well. I think Dave said he's got it as well.
Is the iPhone attachment part of that, or is that separate?
It's part of it.
Okay.
So it's got the usual clamp on it, and this thing could hold up a Volkswagen. It's so strong. I can barely do it with one hand.
It won't press your phone? Oh, that's just the clamp. Okay.
Yeah, that's the clamp for the shelf, and then it's got this clamp, which we should have a good angle of it here.
Okay,
it
cool.
Opens up like that. So I've got the phone.
All right.
Whoops.
Oh,
and
cool.
It just grabs it like that. So
okay. Awesome.
Makes it real easy.
Cool.
And this thing is sometimes you get these flexible things and they're not really strong. Like, any bit of weight is going to make them kind of flop around. This one's actually pretty good. So, I've used it all of one time, but I don't know, it's pretty cool. I think Dave said that he had this as well.
Guess we're all going to be buying soon. That's
the other thing
awesome.
The other thing I was wondering about is and I've talked to Peter about this, but screen capture, and I'm thinking, I was wondering what you guys use if just for screen capturing video. I tried some free ones and I was having problems, so I'm wondering if I should just get pay for one. Or do you guys do any actual digital drawing and screen capture? Well, obviously Kristen's doing it right now, so she's got something.
Yeah, it's just Little Doodle. I use the free one, just the basic Hypercam, and it's given me, I think it's something like Hypercam 2, and it's given me absolutely no problems. I use pretty basic equipment whenever I record things, but so far so good. I haven't had any problems with this.
Yeah, and the quality, because when I try to do it, the one that I was using, when I looked at yours, I could see all, in Photoshop, I could see all the the different commands and all the type looked perfect. But when I was doing mine, it was all fuzzy and everything. So.
Yeah, I'd suggest maybe trying Hypercam unless it's something maybe with a computer.
Yeah, but I guess Google Plus. I mean, in Google Hangouts you can do that anyway. So are you using something different than the Google Hangouts?
Yeah, I just use screen capture for this.
Okay.
So I guess that's using the Google Hangout.
Okay.
Not sure.
Yeah. I'm trying to think for if I want to do something outside of Google Hangouts, what screen capture software I can use for that.
Oh wait, no, you can use this outside of Google Hangouts too. I think.
Okay.
Oh, wait,
Okay.
yeah.
That's actually how I did it. I just used Google Hangouts because I tried some of the free ones and I was having issues too. But you know, you can upload it directly to YouTube privately, and then you can download the video from YouTube.
Okay. Maybe I'll do that then.
But I mean, I don't know if the quality will be great or not. You know.
What I used to do when I used to do streams on Ustream. It's been a while since I've done it. They've kind of wrecked things over there a little bit.
Yeah. I used to do that too.
And I used their Ustream producer software, which is actually really good. I mean, I had it rigged up to where I could pipe in music and show on-screen graphics and all kinds of crazy stuff. But now that they've got this thing where it's like, if you don't offload your videos off of Ustream within 30 days, they kill it.
Oh, so is that a new thing then?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I heard Peter talking about that, and I'm like, I don't remember that before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like Ustream because it was like it seemed to do. I mean, I really can't complain because it was free, but it seemed like if you didn't want a whole bunch of the banners and all this other stuff, I mean, I like Google Plus because it's just got the little thing that says Google Plus at the top. It's not intrusive or anything, and then in order to do, I think I was doing screen capture on that one too, and I had to download a third-party software. And it had its own branding on it, so I had all these different. It looked like a race car with all these different sponsors all over it. I was just like, yeah. I was waiting for Google Hangouts to catch up and get some sort of a chat feature, and now they've got that. So I don't think I'll be going back to Ustream.
Well, there's live stream. What's his name? Eric Webb was here last week. He uses Picno or some weird name, but I think I checked that out, and to me that looks worse. But it has like a big sort of banner off to the right that says GoPro, and it's like I don't want to see that if I'm watching somebody's show or doing my own show. I think that's more intrusive, than Ustream is just, it's cleaner looking.
Yeah.
But, there's only so many choices. Either you're going to pay a large amount of money or, I don't know what.
So I actually did have a question about. Well, I had a couple things written down to potentially talk about. One of them is Patreon.
Okay.
I've had my Patreon page up for, I don't know, a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks, and I have a theory about Patreon, and I think it's specifically for the idea of like how long it takes you to get your first like Patreon patron. I haven't gotten the first one yet, and I don't know if anybody else here is on Patreon or has had any sign-ups or anything for that. But I'm wondering if there's sort of a group mentality with that maybe people don't want to sign up for something and be the first. Like if you were to go to my Patreon page and say, well, this guy's doing some stuff. He's got some neat pieces here, but he's got no backers. Like, what's the deal with that? Why should I? And I'm just kind of wondering if there's that. Everybody wants to show up to a group, and if there is no group, then they're a little. It's a little sketchy for them.
Makes sense.
I think in part,
Marshall and Peter, you guys both have Patreons, don't you? And Jeff, now that he's here.
Oh,
Hey, everybody.
Here.
Holy crap, it's Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
How's it going? Go on, talk about what you were doing.
Hey, there he
I'll just try to jump in.
is. Just started
Yeah, sorry,
on Patreon. Oh, no problem.
Oh, cool.
So Andrew was mentioning like trying to get his first patron, and that he thinks part of it is because like people want to show up to a group, they don't want to be the first one like signing up.
Yeah, like the first bid on an auction or something.
That makes sense to me, but I don't have patrons, so Patreon, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't. For mine, I didn't have that. I got my first couple backers almost immediately, but I haven't been able to get beyond that initial push. So I'm still at my first 5.
Well, for me, I have I think 4 or something backers, and they're basically the same people who back. Like if I ever sell anything, they pretty much buy it. You know what I mean? So, and I don't have many people who do that, so that's like. And they're not backing it for like a ton of money either necessarily. They're just trying to support, so which is cool. It's great. But since I got those initial people who are like kind of my normal people, you know, I haven't had a single new person. So it's been like 2 months since I've had a new person.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And I guess that sort of like proves the Patreon model. I mean, those people were your patrons before, technically.
Right.
Yeah.
Those are the people that, you know, I've heard people say, like, you know, to be successful. I mean, specifically for webcomics, like to have a successful webcomic, you need, you know, 1,000 true fans.
Right.
You know, even if you've got 10,000 readers, you need 1,000 true fans to like get the percentages you need to, you know, buy art and all that stuff. And I don't know, maybe it's kind of like jumping the gun for me to think that I could have a Patreon campaign. You know, I've only got like 200 followers on Instagram. I just passed 100 on Facebook. You know, so, and I do have that sort of small following where I can count on the same people quite a bit, but you know, it gets to the point where you throw this thing up on Facebook, and you know, there's people following it, and I don't want to, you know, I don't want to be kind of like a, you know, poor me kind of thing, but it's kind of like you've got people following you that have been friends your whole life, you know, people that are just like, you know, even just to kind of seed the pool, like, sign up for 2 months and give me $1 just so it, you know, just to kind of get people to maybe kind of, you know, go to the group, go to where the people are, and then once I get some real patrons, you guys can split if you want to, but I don't know, I'm like trying to think of some ideas.
Well, are you addressing these people? Are you addressing these people directly, like your friends, like say, telling them you have this Patreon, or is it just like, here's a message that you're putting on Facebook and everybody could see it, but also nobody could see it?
Yeah, right now, so I've got a personal Facebook page and I've got my fan page, and I may have posted it to my personal page. I don't know. I try my best because I try to keep my personal page mostly friends and family.
Right,
so
yeah.
I want to limit the amount of times that I'm kind of shilling something to them, minimal, but I'm not above doing it. So yeah, I think I might throw something out there just to be like, hey, you know, help me sort of jumpstart this thing. You know, for those people that just, you know, and I don't know if I would be, like, I don't know what I would think about that if I went into somebody's Patreon page and was just like, God, there's nobody here. You know, what it, like, I don't want to be the first. What does that mean? But yeah, it just feels weird.
Yeah, I think your theory is right. I mean, I can kind of see where you're coming from. It just, that's why I haven't really started a Patreon, because I don't think that I know that I really don't have the following yet, and that's kind of that's kind of why I'm doing the 100 days, and and just to try to get more people interested or people to know who I am. And I think you just got to start small and build up. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess my question is, why would you need to have a certain amount of following prior? Because it's not really costing you anything.
well, then let me ask you this, because you have a webcomic. Were most I assume most of your patrons were fans of the webcomic that probably came over?
I'm thinking probably all of them are, but
Okay, so that's kind of
all
that's
five
kind
of
of
them.
my theory. That's kind of what I'm saying is that, I mean, I don't have a webcomic, and I've got I don't know, Facebook. I think I've got maybe like 600 or 700 followers on Facebook on my page, but that doesn't always mean anything, because it's a lot of those people followed me from when I used to work at a game studio, and they liked the game art that I did, but they could care less about the other stuff I do. So you really, I mean, I don't know how you figure out what follower. Just because there's a follower doesn't mean
Yeah.
that they're engaged. They have to engage with you. They have to not just, don't look at that follower number, but look at how many people actually engage in conversation with you. I mean, that's kind of really what you're looking for.
Well, sure, but I mean, my only thought is I probably have I probably have fewer readers than you do, but I started up the Patreon page just because if a few of them put a couple bucks towards me per month, that's something I can point to as some success.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I weren't supporting anybody else, I would still be up $8 per month.
Okay.
But it's not actually costing me anything other than time.
It's true. I mean, what have you got to lose? I mean, it's not.
Yeah, I guess that's my only reason. That's my only question on the logic, is because I mean, since you're not putting anything monetarily forward, I guess if you don't want to, I could understand it if you don't want to cheap out and just be like, I don't really have time to do any patron rewards or anything, so you can just give me money if you want. I could see kind of shying away from that, but.
A lot of people's Patreons are just that, though. They're not giving anything hardly, They're just like, give me money.
Yeah. I mean, I think I mentioned this before, that if I was going to start one, I definitely want, because have any of you guys done Kickstarter or anything?
I have.
You have?
I did one, yeah, but for my animation, not my art.
Okay. So I don't know if you guys, there's a podcast that I follow. It's called Funding the Dream. Have you heard of this podcast?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's really good. The guy that hosts it, it's mostly the game, the board game design end of Kickstarter, but it applies to everything. And it's just, there's a wealth of knowledge on there, but I think, and the successful Kickstarters I've seen, I mean, you can look at them and you can kind of see all the stuff you get. And I think if I ever start doing Patreon, I'd want to do the same thing where, and obviously you got to, I mean, if you're only getting $1 a month from, I mean, you can't do too many giveaways, but if different pledge levels are, it's just, I guess just plan it out and just, instead of just saying, here, this is what I do on a regular basis, just help me with that. I don't know, but that's, I don't think there's a right or wrong way to do it, but that's just me.
I think there's stuff that you can do on Patreon, though, that really don't require a ton of extra time or money on your part. I mean, I think things I like are like with some webcomics I follow, where they might post the script for the next script early.
Okay.
That didn't cost you anything because you were already writing that. Or they might post the blue line sketches ahead of time. Or I know there's some where they might do like a sketch a week, and then $3 and up patrons can suggest the topics, and if he draws your topic, then you get first dibs on buying it.
That's cool.
So if that's all stuff you were going to do anyway, those are the kind of things that I'm thinking about doing.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about. At least, but I'm saying, yeah, I mean, you got a plan, and you are offering things, whether it takes you any extra time. There's a perceived value there to the actual people that are gonna help fund it. I mean, instead of just this is what I do, I really kind of need help, and type of thing. So I don't know.
I think if it's a one-to-one thing where it's like you're literally not getting anything that the regular reader of this strip, or the regular fan of this artist is getting. I think that's a harder sell, but if you can make it feel more like a club, like you're in the the private, this is the CircWorks club, and I'm sharing all this cool stuff with you ahead of time, or exclusive whatever.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I mentioned doing before. I actually wanted to do it like a fan club, and even if it's just going to like Got Print or Vista Print or getting some cheap like postcard prints done or something that's simple to mail out, or I don't know, just something that you can kind of create like a package, like a theme around, and make it like a fan club for your brand.
I think that kind of.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think to play like devil's advocate, like I almost feel like that is actually not quite what Patreon is for. I think it's supposed to really revolve around the whole idea of people being patrons of the arts.
Yeah.
And helping out, and you're not even like, a lot of people do stuff. They're saying, I'm gonna continue doing this, and I'm gonna continue doing it for free. Would you help me? And the people who are successful they just happen to be people who have already, from what I can see, for the most part, they're people who have already got a big following.
Yeah.
And there are probably some examples that aren't quite that, and I mean, I would say Jeff Lafferty is actually a pretty good example, because we've seen like through this process that he's added some people and stuff, but he's he's sending stuff to people every month, which that's a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah, by the way, that's crazy, Jeff.
Well,
I would be just fine paying you money on Patreon and not getting the print. I mean, I will not I won't not accept it. But every time, like when I get prints from you in the mail, I'm just like, you didn't have to do that for me.
Well, I mean, when I first started Patreon, that's kind of how I looked at it. I just looked at it as like print sales almost. I just thought, well, if these guys want to give me monthly money, then I'll just send them a print, just like as if I'm selling prints. But I agree. It's like, as I've done Patreon, I think in some ways that's almost a mistake, because it's like Patreon seemed to, like, the biggest bump I've seen in supporters really came from like when I started doing like the drawing giveaway at the end of the month and stuff like that. And I think that's because I started to kind of engage people on Patreon and gave it like, this is only something that you can get from Patreon. The print thing, I don't know. It never seemed to really generate a lot of people, Are you guys there?
I think we're all thinking.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think if you just went to like, if you just went to like a once a month giveaway, I think that would be just as good.
I've thought that, but it's like, how do you change it? And then it goes back to that same thing. It's like, well, I'm selling prints, so if I take away all those top tiers, I just feel like I'd be giving that money away. So, it's kind of like I'm in it. Yeah, think about it before you start it. That's what I would do more.
Well, if you go up to 100 patrons, are you still going to be giving out prints to everybody?
To anybody that gets in those levels, because I guess I just look at it like it's a print sale, Like if somebody's giving me $40 a month, they get 4 prints, and I sell my prints for $10 a piece, and it's no real difference than what's going on in eBay, but I don't know. I mean, I didn't honestly even realize you had a Kickstarter going, Andrew, and I kind of follow you. I don't know if I get many more messages than just what shows up on the Artcasters, but I wonder if that might be a little bit of the problem, because like I know you do support me, and I didn't even realize you had one on there.
Yeah, and see, that's the other thing, is I don't really know, and I think I posted something in the group about this, but I feel like I'm everywhere but nowhere.
Yeah.
It's like I'm on Instagram and Twitter, and it seems like every time I post a new piece, it takes me like 2 hours to do because like I'm resizing for Instagram and I'm doing all this other stuff and trying to get it all in all these places. But I feel like, all that work isn't really, because like I said, I just recently passed 200 on Instagram, and I know it's not all about numbers, but, in aggregate, it kind of is. So, like, how do you get that out there? Like, I've got this one website that I kind of consider my hub, but it is very like scattered. Like, am I an artist? Am I a web developer? I'm kind of both. I'm chocolate and peanut butter. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to do.
That's the problem I have too. I'm doing music, I'm doing art, I'm doing comics, I'm doing toys.
You really are all over the place, Marshall. I'm sorry.
I think that hurts me though. Like he's saying, that can hurt you.
Do you guys listen to any Jersey Droz show?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so he's talked about this before, and I think it was Ryan Estrada who he keeps saying does it really well, where it's just the first thing on the webpage is, hey, I'm Ryan Estrada, I draw comics, I'm an adventurer, I do this. And it's just like all in one thing. It's his name, and it's like all the different things that he does right there, and those would be different links. So for Marshall, it'd be like, hey, I'm Marshall Plex Couture. I make toys. I draw mini comics. I do hip hop. And it so, and of course the problem is nowadays most people don't actually go to your webpage.
That's one thing I noticed, because I remember that episode with Ryan Estrada, and I went and I looked at his site and checked it out, and I see where they were coming from with that, but then I really had like a hard time figuring out how to follow that guy anywhere. And even like today, I'm interested in what he's doing, but like when he posts a YouTube video, I see that. But really, other than that, I miss like a ton of stuff that guy does.
That's
I think his
website
isn't really like a. I'm sorry, but like his website isn't really like something that's constantly putting out content to where I'm like interested in it.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's. Mine isn't either. I mean, I've got a blog on there, but I don't update it that often. I mean, it's mostly all the other social medias are the one that kind of get my attention. So.
Yeah, like you've got my attention now with these videos. Your video comes out every day, and I click on it. That's like it. I've been to your site, I've been to your store, but I don't know that. It's like if you're selling me something, your best chance is to sell it to me through that video.
And that's why every single video I start off pitching my comic book. So.
Right.
I mean. Because I guess you've got to kind of I mean, you can't do. If I was just doing YouTube, that's not going to work. If I was just doing Facebook, that's not going to work.
Right.
And that's the problem, is you've got to figure out how to do all these different things. And
yeah,
I haven't mastered it by any means. I don't know who.
Well, I think one of the things we hit on is really important. A few things actually. The whole event thing, like Jeff was talking about how having the contest or whatever, that's a big deal. Yeah. Like if you can do stuff like that. Also the 100 Days of Comics thing, that I think we've all increased in subscribers on different things because of that who have done that. Now I'm doing this verse a day thing with all these like rappers and stuff. I've gotten a bunch of new people from that. And it comes gradually, like for every event I do, there's like maybe 5 new people and then maybe 10 more like in the background that I don't even hear from or something. And that's how I'm like gradually, and that's like the fact that I have don't have a focus has hurt me, but in some ways it's helped me because I've been inside the toy community. I've been inside, the hip hop community. So I have like all these people from all these different places, and also the stickers. I grow like right now I have 530 subscribers on YouTube, and it's like most of those guys are like sticker people, and they don't even. I doubt they even watch my videos anymore. So it's like, it's so hard to really. Like, I've gotten some subscribers through doing all that, but I don't know if they're sticking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How
But
did they?
I do think that events are a big deal. Like doing all these little events helps.
How did all those people find, if they're just interested in stickers? How did they find you on YouTube?
Well, that was because that it was a YouTube community. That's the thing with YouTube. That's what it's all about, is the different communities. And I never did the art stuff because it didn't seem like anybody was really doing much with that until now. But there's different communities on YouTube, and that's how you really get more. And the sticker community used to be huge. Now all the people I follow hardly ever post videos, but it used to be like crazy.
So is that like drawing on the U.S. postal stickers thing? Is that what you're talking about, or is it something else?
Yeah. A lot of people do that, yeah, or just any kind of sticker. But yeah, that's one of the big ones.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree. It seems like there just hasn't been like an art thing on YouTube. I mean, there's a lot of art videos, but it's funny. This is the first time I've really seen it happening with like this 100 Days of Comics and stuff. And it's really cool that it is. It seems to be like gaining force, like a tidal wave in a way. You know, it's really neat.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm hoping it keeps going. I mean, because I think Kevin Cross brought a lot of momentum to it.
Yeah.
And now that he's not doing it, I'm hoping more people still, keep joining and everything. But
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm really glad when I see more 100 Days of Comics guys start popping up in the sidebar. Because I like you said, I just hope people really keep going with it and keep, there's new guys that come in and do another 100 days and all that kind of stuff. So, because I agree, man, this could be an awesome, I've always felt like the webcomics thing has like this big community behind it and stuff, and then, which I guess you guys are doing comics, maybe you're part of that, I don't know, but just for like art, it's like we're all over the place, all scattered.
Well, yeah, it seems like everyone's doing comics, and I don't know. Because the banner is just the hundreds, which can be anything. But I always say 100 Days of Making Comics because that's what I'm doing. And like if you go to that Tumblr that Kevin set up, it says who you are and what you're doing. So it can be for anything. Unfortunately, it hasn't really crossed the aisle so much yet. It's still mostly comic book people. But
yeah,
we'll see what happens when Kevin gets back into posting videos again. I'm not sure what he's been up to lately, or if he's pushing it to get more people, or maybe we should all be pushing to get more people involved to make it grow bigger.
Yeah, I usually mention it, but I'm one person, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think
one person.
I think one of the things too, and I keep mentioning Jeff, sorry, but I can't help it. One of the other things, one of the other things though that you hit on before was like the fact that like that whole idea of the like drawing a day thing being almost like I keep wanting to say industry, but that's not really the right word for it. But its own like thing where people can make money through doing that. And I think that's kind of like, yeah, the 100 Days of Comics thing is really cool, but that's like that event, and it'll probably kind of wind down, but there's no reason why we can't keep doing other things than that. And I think I mentioned that on my podcast recently, and actually also in my YouTube video. And I think, Scott, you really started doing something too when you did the Fan Art Friday. Like, that's another event. Like, you might look at that and be like, oh, well, I only got like 5 or 10 views or whatever. But if you keep doing that consistently, it'll catch on. And I'm telling you, like, the first time I saw that, I'm like, shoot, I want to do freaking Fan Art Friday.
Yeah.
I looked at that after the fact, and there's a bunch of other people that do Fan Art Friday, so I didn't come up with that, but I think it's kind of open to anyone. It's just like Throwback Thursdays or whatever. There's all kinds of whatever. But yeah, and that's the reason why I did it, because I want to start preparing for when because I'm at like 63 days, so eventually the 100 days are going to run out, and I want to continue in some fashion, but I also want to add other content because I think, and I mentioned this before too, but different people are interested in different things. So somebody might not want to just see me talk about comics, but they might want to watch me draw. And and it's the whole fan art thing. I mean, and I don't want to do fan art so much. I mean, I like doing it, but I don't want to do it so much because I want to build my own brand and my own things. That's why I wanted to just allocate it to one day, so it's kind of separate. It's over here to the side. This is the day I'm going to do fan art, and this is like a special thing. And hopefully that'll bring in more people because people know those characters and everything. And you know, if I put a hashtag in there, they might search it and find me, and oh, he's doing other stuff too. That might, let's check out this space monkey beating up a robot. Maybe he's cool, maybe or whatever. So
Absolutely.
Well, that's that's the thing too, and I'll stop talking in a second. But like you're doing that Fan Art Friday thing, and you may not want to sell it. That's fine. It's not really about the selling with that, anyways. It's more about this is like something fun with art, and people will want to watch it just because of that. And if you can keep coming up with new things, new series or whatever, something that's fun with art, like that's kind of what needs to be happening. You're having fun with art, and then these things will start to trickle in. You know, people will start to maybe request, you know, work from you or something, or whatever it is that you're aiming for. Hopefully you're clear about that, you know.
yeah. No,
Yeah,
and that's
I think there's something to be said about, and they're kind of hokey and weird, but hashtags. If there's something that already has momentum, to kind of jump on something like, I mean, Sketch Dailies is a prime example of that, because a ton of people participate in that, so they're always seeing those hashtags. The people who run Sketch Dailies are constantly retweeting those. Things like when Jake Parker started up this thing called Inktober, which is basically create a pen and ink drawing every day in October, which I tried to do last year and failed miserably. But the idea of that is everybody has that hashtag. Jake Parker is retweeting a bunch of those pieces of art. I mean, I feel like there's value in that. Not to just like jump on whatever bandwagon's coming around, because I think the Ice Bucket Challenge is kind of done. But I mean, I think there are some things like that you can kind of be a part of, and you're getting something out of it, but you're also, you're getting passed around that group.
Have you ever heard of the 24-hour comic?
Oh yeah.
I'm sure, like most people have, yeah. But
I would love to do that one of these days, but I can't even imagine doing a 24-page comic in 24 hours without going cross-eyed and drooling.
I'm going to attempt to. I think the official day is October 4th or 6th. They have an official day for it. So I think, I know because you were mentioning sharing your stuff, they have an official website or something where you post your pages when you're done with it. But that's what I'm going to try to do. I probably will fail. I mean, I'm not going to kid myself, and I'm going to try it anyway, just for the hell of it. But, yeah.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do that for a while, but I've got friends here. I've got a couple of friends here in Arizona who are like huge into making mini comics, and they do it all the time, and it's like an event. And I've always wanted to join them, but like October is so bad for me because I got so much stuff going on in October. But I mean, it is one day, so I guess, yeah.
It's a good exercise. I don't know that I ever tried it in earnest, but
I don't think I would try it unless I had someone else to like split duties with. Like me as writer, artist, and inker and colorist, I think like I would be put in an asylum after 24 hours. But if you could get somebody, a writer and the artist and someone else to do inking or coloring, I think you get a bunch of people together.
Well, it doesn't have to be fully colored. Most of them are just black and white. I mean, the idea is you go to it, you approach it with something that isn't a masterpiece, it's something quick and dirty that we get out in 24 hours and just have fun with it. I think that's kind of the idea behind it. I mean, I don't see how anyone could do a full full color comic in 24 hours. That's insane.
I saw one, but it was each page of it was just a panel. It was 24 panels, and actually it turned out really, really well. I was quite impressed with it.
I once did
I don't think I want to be up for 24 hours straight.
It's more like 12-hour comic day.
Yeah, that'd be good. I'd do that.
I once did a comic. I think it was like an 8-page comic at a convention, which is a mistake. Let me tell you. But I was only the inker, and it was written by Bo Smith, and I forget who the penciler was. But it was like I spent more time on that stupid comic for no reason whatsoever, instead of interacting with the whole convention and making money and talking with friends, and it's like I was sorry I did it, other than having a chance to work with Bo. But yeah, it was kind of insane.
Speaking of hashtags, have any of you heard of this one called Art Drop Day?
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Oh yeah.
Also started by Jake Parker.
Yep, I'm doing that. I've already got like 4 sketches that I'm gonna do. My daughter has that day off work, and I told her, asked her if she wanted to do it with me. I mean, not off work, off school. She's not old yet. And I guess she's got like she has to do like a current events thing, so that's going to be her current event. So we're going to do that together, so it should be fun. I've got like at least 4 drawings that I'm going to go and drop off, and I think that's such a cool idea. When I saw that, because he started doing that, I guess he did like a cross-country tour, and every state that he was in, he would drop one off, and I'm like, oh man, I wish I thought of that. And when he kind of opened it up to everyone as like a thing, I was like, oh, I gotta do that.
Yeah, I saw that he was doing that, but I didn't learn of like the actual event with the hashtag and everything. I didn't learn about that until today, so I was like, well, that's not a lot of notice for me anyway.
Isn't it like 2 or 3 days away still, though?
Yeah, it's just one. You only have to do like one sketch. Just do a quick sketch, because I mean you're giving it away. I mean, I think you can still.
I don't even know what we're talking about.
Oh yeah, it's so. If anyone else doesn't want to explain it, I'll explain it. So yeah, Jake Parker, who I don't know if you know, he's a children's book illustrator and freelance illustrator, and he's worked for some animation studios. And he's got a huge following on social media and all that. But so he started this thing called. He is starting it. It's going to be September 2nd. It's called World Art Drop, and it's basically where you draw, you do a sketch or whatever, and you hide it or place it somewhere, and you will either tweet about it or Instagram about it or whatever, and then somebody will find it, and you can write on the back, write your URL or whatever, and just kind of see if somebody finds it and responds, or maybe they don't, but it's just you're just kind of leaving art out in the world for people to discover.
I've done that with comics before.
Yeah?
Comics that I wanted people to read, not like my own, but stuff that I thought needed the support. I'd buy a couple extra copies and just leave them around.
It reminds me of there was a Mitch Hedberg joke where he was talking about how his new album will actually be in stores.
But you have to leave it there.
Yeah, he says, the only way I could get my album in the stores before was just to leave it there. And he says hey, the guy's like, hey, you left this. And he says, no, that is for sale. Please alphabetize it.
I love Mitch Hedberg.
It reminds me of in elementary school when we used to put like little messages and tie them to helium balloons and let them all go.
We were talking about that. We were talking, I think Sid and I were talking about tying artwork to balloons and letting it go off. But
Yeah.
We did that in school when I was younger too.
I think everyone must have.
Yeah.
So is anybody going to do it besides Scott then?
I
I'm
think
definitely gonna do it.
You're doing it, Marshall?
I think I'm gonna do
I
it.
have no clue what I'm gonna
You
do.
do,
I'll just go through my sketchbook and tear some pages out or something.
Yeah.
I might. I'm not sure.
Cool.
I don't think it would be worth it to do it in my town. Just there's nobody.
that's small. How far is it to? Because I'm gonna drive. I'm just like I said. I'm gonna make kind of a day out of it.
I'm going to drive to Boulder and drop on here for me.
I live west of Phoenix, way west, about as west as you can get with still being in civilized, area. So I'm going to go like Central Phoenix and then the West Valley and then all the way to East Valley. So I'm going to drop a few off at different points and just see what happens.
That's cool.
Yeah, I live 25 miles north of Atlanta, but I work in Atlanta, so I don't know. If I had a little bit more time, I could actually like think this out and come up with some good places.
Yeah.
You plan for next year.
Yeah.
Andrew, like, you were kind of talking about like traffic and all that and building up your fan base, and I remember you kind of like messaging me like a while ago, and I mean, am I wrong that is your website kind of like new? I mean, when did you kind of get going with all this, selling art and all that kind of thing?
Well, I'll tell you, like I said, I've been a web developer forever, since '97, and there was a period when I was, I kept thinking that art was going to be this thing that I would do. When I graduated from high school, I was accepted to the Art Institute of Pittsburgh, and for various reasons just didn't go, which I sort of regret, sort of not. I mean, I wouldn't be in this profession if I had gone, probably, and there's a train going by.
I mean, like, when I guess I was kind of asking more specifically about like like your website, like your current like fan base. I mean, how long have you been trying to build it? Has this been like 3-4 years, or is it just been a year, or what?
I didn't really start to try to get serious again with my art until we moved to Atlanta in 2006.
So you've had your website up and you've been selling stuff since then, or?
I haven't been selling stuff, and it took me a while just to get. I started off just posting things to DeviantArt, trying to get a following there. It was quite a while before I even set up a Facebook page. I've been on Twitter since like 2006, but I wasn't always posting my art there. So yeah, I mean, it's in some ways it seems like, wow, geez, it seems like it's been long enough for a following to be a little bit bigger. But then again, I think just because I'm so all over the place, I think that's part of why it is. Maybe it's because somebody can't just search for Andrew Jones and find me.
Well, nobody's gonna look for that though. That doesn't know you. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So I mean, I own Jeff Lafferty, but it's like nobody's looking for Jeff Lafferty if they don't already know me. But I mean, like my point was, it's like I've been online for like quite a while. 2004 or something. But I wouldn't say like I really got focused and had like my current website and my current store, like enough of a something that would build a fan base, until maybe like 2009 or something. You know what I mean? And then you got to look at it too. It's like from 2009 till now, that's a long time. So it's like you've talked to a lot of people and you know a lot of people and you've sold to a lot of people and a lot of people bought from you and they find you and they forget about you and they come back to you and things like that. And each time you come out with like new stuff, it builds on that. And it's like if you're trying to like start a Patreon like 4 months ago, and then like 4 months in you still don't have anybody, it takes like a lot of time to build up people that, especially I think with Patreon, because it's like it's just not everybody's going to jump on that. I think people that'll give to a Kickstarter won't give to a Patreon. It's like a certain kind of person that's going to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I actually had a
people
friend
who will
tell
buy
me.
from you and not give to a Patreon too.
Yeah, I had a friend tell me that, and this was when I was trying to start a Patreon page for my webcomic, which I was doing, and this was probably, I don't know, 6 months ago or whatever, and I decided to shelve it for then, but he even told me, it was like, look, man, if you were doing like a Kickstarter or something, I'd give you some money, but like this Patreon thing is forever.
I thought that too.
Well, yeah, it's like, are we going to be friends forever? It was just a weird statement. It was like, yeah, like Kickstarter has this finite end and it has this tangible thing that I'm saying after this amount of time and this amount of money, I'm going to give you this thing. And I think that's maybe what people kind of can't get their heads around. It's like, so I'm giving you $1 a month forever. Like, it just doesn't compute to people, I guess.
And I'm like a guy who's not good, like now I'm pretty good because I've got stuff for sale on eBay all the time. I'm always, money's coming in and out. But like before that, I mean, I was horrible about like, paying my credit card bills and, they expire. I wouldn't give a shit, you know what I mean? Things like that. And it's like, for Patreon to work, it's got to be a guy who's like up on his credit card thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And has like his card, current, and that's just like a certain kind of person that does that, and I don't know. Patreon is a tough one. I don't think it's a good, barometer of like even your popularity or what you can sell or what you're gonna, all that stuff,
But I will say that, like, since I started on the Facebook group, like, I've made some changes that seem to be having an effect. Like,
Yeah.
I just decided that I will always have at least one piece on eBay at all times.
That's a good thing.
Even if I have to relist the same thing 5 times, there needs to be something there all the time. And, I'm trying to, like, have a minimum update schedule with the videos. But like this weekend, I just decided to have like a big Labor Day blowout sale. I posted a bunch of my newer pieces to eBay, but I also posted a bunch of stuff that's just been hanging around for a couple years. It's like I've got no reason just to hold on to this stuff. And even like that Robin Williams piece, I relisted 3 times. That's already gotten a bid. There was a Goonies piece that I've relisted like 5 times, and it got a bid. And there's a bunch of watchers and stuff already. And I don't know. It's just keeping consistency. I guess is the name of the game.
You're doing it right. I mean, that's the thing. There's no like, and I used to look for it all the time, and I still do. That magic bullet, that secret formula that's gonna like boost you up. But the reality is like when you look back a year ago or something, you're further along than you are back then. It just takes freaking time to build up that. Me and Peter were talking about the same thing. It's just like it seems like you're going nowhere, but you actually are making progress. But you just gotta stick in there for that long haul. And eBay, it sucks. It's just that is how it is. You've got to post and repost, and you just can't guess what the hell's gonna sell. And you think you got this one figured out, and then it doesn't sell to the guys you think is going to come buy it, and somebody comes out of left field, and they get it, and you just go like, I just don't understand this. I still don't understand it, So.
I haven't done the eBay before, so I don't know if that's something that's.
Yeah.
The way you're talking about it sounds like it might be a hassle. I don't know. I don't know if it's worth doing or is it.
It's a massive hassle. But that's selling art, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta like freaking find those buyers and you gotta ship it and all that stuff. It's a big pain in the ass. So.
The other day, my wife asked me, "Was like, okay, in all of these eBay listings, are you putting links to like your website and your Instagram and your Patreon and all that?" And like a dope, I was like, "No." So like now, like I've created like a custom signature for eBay. Like every post is like, here I am on Patreon, and follow my art in all of these other places. Because even if they just like watched that piece or looked at that piece, they might still click through to something else. So I mean, here I am, internet marketer, guru, developer, didn't even know that.
Yeah, I hate to even like tell you after putting that work in, but that's actually like against eBay's rules, just to link out of eBay auctions.
Oh, great.
And I used to do that same thing, link back to my site, and at one point when they caught me, they just took all my auctions down, whether I had bids or not, and I just, so I don't know.
That's great.
Just tip for the future. It kind of sucks, but.
I was going to ask you, Jeff, how do you embed the videos? I see in some of your posts you actually embed like the video for that. Is that just a screenshot, or is that actually, because I tried it one day and they won't allow that embed code from YouTube.
Embedded into the eBay auctions?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to just go into the HTML. And I think the thing with that is you got to go to a video that's not attached to a playlist. So it's just got to be a single video, and you also have to use what's called the old embed code. If you go to like a single video of your YouTube page, there's like a button that checks, says old embed code. That's the only kind of code you can cut into that HTML.
Okay.
And that should be able to get one in there for you.
Because I thought that's even nicer if you've got a processed video of it, you might as well throw it in there.
Absolutely, and that is a way that, I mean, that's kind of like a backdoor way to link into some of your stuff, because if they click on that YouTube video down by YouTube, it'll kick them over to the YouTube channel. And I've never gotten in trouble for that, so. I don't know, what's your rating on eBay? Like, what's your feedback at and stuff?
The last I looked, like, if I get into my seller page, it just changed recently to above standard.
Well, I know, but like, what's your actual like number? Are you above 100 yet?
No, there's no way. Hang on, let me.
Yeah, once you get up above 100, it's like eBay will give you a little bit more leeway, and you'll get into more searches and stuff. When you're like at 0 and stuff, it's like unless you're sending traffic to your eBay auctions, there's nobody gonna find them.
Yeah, I'm 21 right now.
Yeah, so you see, you're building, you're getting there.
Yeah.
So.
You can drink now.
I can drink now.
Right.
I already
Nice.
been doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a long haul. Like you said, I mean, if I look at artwork that I did a year ago, I just want to burn it. But yeah, I mean, it's such a slow burn.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's tough to make it work. But then some guys, I don't know, they do get that magic formula or something, and they just light it up and blow up. I don't know. I'd like to figure that one out. Like Kristen is on YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've been weirdly silent. I've been trying to work out this one. I might actually have a job offer coming up, which is pretty cool, to make a comic or help make a comic for this one guy. So
Very
I've been
cool.
kind of figuring that out.
That's great.
Nice.
Is it like a long one, or how long is it?
I'm not really sure how long it is yet. I'm trying to figure that out, but it's still in the works, or the script is, but it's this horror thing. So it's a pretty, like, messed up story, so it's great for me. That's all I can say, really. So it's pretty crazy, but I think it's exciting because, I mean, hell, if I'm going to apply for a school, it'd be pretty cool to say, oh, yeah, I made stuff for other people, so.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I keep forgetting you're, like, young.
Yeah. Well, at least I don't come off young. So that's a good thing. Actually, though, don't tell me that in probably 10 years from now. I'll probably wish I was younger.
That's right.
You will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that with my Patreon, though. I mean, just going back to it, I guess, since I brought it up again, but just, it was way hard, man. You got that initial jump of people, and then it was like to lift it up at all was just like, God, it was like pushing a 10,000 pound boulder up a hill. You were kind of saying that, John, and it's just like, I don't know, I heard other people talking about that too, just like they got that initial Patreon kind of push, and then it was just like it just stayed there, and that's how I felt with mine.
Yeah.
One thing. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say that just might be the nature of the beast. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how you get over that. Of course, I'm not really sure how you monetize any of this, but
Yeah.
I think it has to do with what you got going on outside of Patreon.
Yeah.
Because you bring people to your Patreon, and you really have to entice people to go there. And if you really got things going on YouTube, and then people will flow to your other places. Wherever you got some real action going on. I enticed as many people as I can get at the moment, and now it's deadlined until something else spectacular happens in my life, I guess.
Yeah.
But so actually, I had this idea. I'm gonna put it out so everybody listening. But this is specifically something me and Jeff, if he wants to, can do.
Nominated already. What's this idea?
Anybody can do this, but this is an idea of something I wanted to do with Jeff. You're into Frank Frazetta. You've done various Frank Frazetta drawings, pictures. Would you be into doing one where you pencil and make a video, and I'll ink and make a video?
That's interesting. I wondered what your inks would look like on my stuff. I had some guys ink it a long time ago. This guy Jason Moore, and he really did a nice job, and I kind of wondered if you might be able to do the same thing. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I suppose so.
Okay.
That's the thing. Is like I haven't drawn on just like normal Bristol paper in like so long. You know, with just like a normal pencil.
Yeah.
I'm like all gray paper with colored pencils and stuff. But yeah, I think that would be kind of cool.
Okay.
What?
Yeah. I'm just in a broader sense, you know, like we can get more involved, like and like cross-pollinate our YouTube channels and whatnot.
Oh, I see. So I do it on video. So I'm like drawing on video,
Yeah.
and then I pass it off to you, and then you ink it like on video. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That
You
type
know.
of stuff is really good, actually, I think.
I was doing this thing with some friends here locally where we were creating a comic, and each one of us would do a panel. So one person would start off, do a panel, pass that page on to somebody else, and he'd do the next panel, and we just keep going. And eventually we kind of lost steam with it, but I mean, stuff like that's always fun to do, kind of collaborations and everything.
That's kind of a neat idea. I've seen that at cons, you know, just like passing the sketchbook down the thing. We kind of did that same sort of thing, like a storyline, you know, and then it gets all crazy.
I've heard some people call them jam sessions.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I just did one at a con I did the other day. It was just measured out in, I think it was like 9 or, like, no, it was probably more like, I don't know, 12 or something, just squares. And it was the same con I went to last year. They did the same thing. They did Fantastic Four. Everybody draw something from Fantastic Four. This year it was Godzilla and dinosaurs. And it was cool. It was fun.
That's pretty neat.
Has there
Yeah,
been any more discussion about what the next monthly challenge will be?
Oh.
Some people have thrown out ideas. I thought I'd put it up for a vote. I guess it's the end of the month. We got to get on it, don't we?
I'm probably
I
going
don't
to finish
remember-
my Star Wars one tomorrow.
Oh, you're out of the club, dude. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I
Well, it's
didn't
already
actually,
tomorrow. I'm
I
already
haven't
in the
actually even
future.
started mine, so I'm out.
Oh, man. I'm just going to have to...
I was working on mine today and I didn't like it, so I'll get a start
Oh,
over.
man. All three of you guys. And you're on the chat, for Christ's
I
sake.
did mine last night.
That was
Yeah, I liked your Wookiee, dude. That was awesome. Or not Wookiee. Ewok.
yeah, the Ewok
Ewok,
lightsaber.
yeah.
I liked it.
So
Great.
it's not done, but I technically started one.
That's pretty neat. Well, I haven't even
Hard
started
to
like doing the
beat.
video, so
Yeah, that's cool.
there's time to still get it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
know
you
what.
can-
Okay.
I was thinking, Jeff, I saw you at one time had done a couple of Mad Max pieces, and the new Mad Max trailer was out, and that would be my suggestion to throw in the hat.
That'd be pretty cool. A lot of people would probably like doing that.
I had a suggestion, but I don't know if I said it or not yet.
What?
But I think,
think you just thought it.
one that would be really cool that like you could do a lot of different things from is just fan art for Stephen King stuff because he's got so
yeah.
much out there.
Yeah.
Everybody's a fan of something that he's done, you know.
You're gonna get a lot of Pennywise, I'm sure.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, you missed
Clown
that
from
one.
It.
What's that?
The clown from It. Pennywise. Is
Oh,
the
that's
Oh.
what his name is? Okay.
And then I remember Peter said Betty Page.
Actually, I was wrong. It was Betty Boop. I think that.
Oh, Betty Boop.
Which
Well, that's
no one wants to
practically
do.
the same thing.
And somebody said Indiana Jones too. I think since they saw me do that Indiana Jones piece. I don't know. I just thought I'd make a post and let people all
Choose.
chime in and try to get a vote out of everybody.
See,
Cool.
I kind of like just saying here, do this, because it's a challenge. You're supposed to kind of go outside of your comfort zone, and when people vote on it, they will vote inside their comfort zone.
They'll all vote Indiana Jones, I know.
Yeah,
So.
'cause everybody likes drawing Indiana Jones.
Well, maybe
I won't vote for it. I love the
Maybe we
movie, but
save-
it's everywhere.
maybe we save Stephen King for October.
That's
Yeah.
a good idea.
Well, we should do like it should be an artist, like everybody trying to copy an artist style or something.
Everybody make Rob
Mm.
Liefeld
Oh,
character
Okay, no,
Yes.
no.
Do the Rob Liefeld tribute comics. That's
Hasn't he done enough damage without him damaging our art styles?
Or Rob
always
Liefeld.
coming down for Rob.
You just can't get those feet right.
Have you guys seen the Image Comics documentary?
No.
I haven't. I want to.
It's really
Not
good.
yet, no.
Find that.
It's on. I'm trying to see.
Just Google it, you'll find it. There's a website.
Yeah, it's called
Yeah.
It's called the Image Revolution.
Oh, cool.
Google that, you'll find that.
It's a really interesting story of like just how Image Comics came to be, and I'll say one thing for Rob Liefeld, he does a killer imitation of Todd McFarlane.
I've
Oh,
heard.
Oh, you mean like voice-wise? Yeah. I can
Yeah,
see
yeah.
that.
Todd McFarlane actually gave some advice that kind of got under my skin. He was saying like, oh, like I remember I was watching some old interview that he did for this one thing, and he was saying like you should only copy from comics and not from life, because
That's
comics
true,
has
yeah.
more interesting things in it.
That
Like-
is maybe the worst thing
It's like-
bit of advice I've ever heard in my life.
I went through
This is a lot of things.
I went through a
Yeah.
huge Todd McFarlane idol worship phase, and I still like the guy. When Spawn #1 came out and all that, that was just like life changing for me. But I won't deny the fact that the guy's kind of a tool.
Yeah.
He is a very rich tool.
Yeah, well,
I remember that interview, and it was like, he was kind of saying, when you go and show your stuff, at cons, they always tell you, draw from life, and, do this, and, I mean, I can kind of see where he's coming from, where he's like, you're trying to get into comics, give them what they want, draw from comics, learn how to draw that way, and then, but then, by the same token, I don't know, that just kind of leads to, like, all that shit Image was doing back then, so.
Yeah, I think he was probably just saying, because obviously the popular opinion and the one I think most people subscribe to is that don't just draw from comics. So he's probably just saying it's okay to draw comics, but he probably just took it a little too far. Only draw from comics, which,
Yeah. That was the kiss of death for those guys, getting rich off of Image. Just stopped every one of them.
Well,
None
didn't
of
quite.
them are drawing anymore.
Larson still drawing.
Oh, I guess he does, yeah.
Yeah, Larson's still drawing. Jim Lee's still drawing, which amazes me because now
Oh, that's true.
he's got publisher duties now.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't
Lover.
understand- I don't understand where Jim Lee gets all of his time.
I'm not entirely sure that dude sleeps, really. And he's not like a fast artist or anything. Like, he still has delays when he does monthly artwork, but, I mean, given what he's doing now, and he's now maintaining a better schedule than he used to, I'm not sure that he's technically human anymore. He did something.
He's
an
now
art
an
form.
android.
He's an art form.
I guess.
He probably has a good staff.
That's a good point.
He has an amazing inker.
Yep, that's true too.
Yeah, Scott Williams is pretty phenomenal.
She's still doing all Jim Lee's inking.
Yeah, as far as I know.
From what I heard, Scott Williams pretty much dedicated his life to inking Jim Lee.
Well, I guess if you're gonna
Like
dedicate
literally.
to one guy, you know, that's probably the guy to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was thinking him back in the, 90s or whatever, when I was reading the stuff. So that's crazy. I didn't even realize either one of them were doing anything, really. So.
He started off with Will Spartasio, and then once he got caught wind of Jim Lee, he said that he feels like that Jim Lee is like gonna be basically the guy that everybody looks to for art. Like he's the most important artist in comics. Like I think he even said that, and so that's why he's like dedicated his career to that.
Hmm.
It is a good move.
He definitely left a footprint in comics. Jim Lee did,
Absolutely.
for sure. I don't know though. I mean, it's not that my kind of stuff though. I have a hard time even liking any of his stuff from back in the day or now, really. But everybody's gonna have an opinion, I guess.
I used to like his stuff, and it's fine. It's cool. It's not my favorite anymore.
Yeah, I've kind of gone through kind of a transition of guys like Jim Lee who draw in that kind of sort of crisp, precise style, and I'm really going the other way into guys that have a real sketchy style like Scotty Young.
Yeah, he's really
which I just awesome. He's one of those artists that are kind of like Bill Watterson for me, where it's like it looks so loose and sketchy and random, but it is not. Like it is like there is definitely technique there.
Right.
Absolutely.
I
haven't seen any of his Rocket Raccoon stuff, but I want to pick some up.
It's awesome. I think I heard that there's been some issues with that, and he's probably not going to continue. Which really sucks because the first 2 issues are freaking awesome.
I heard they're in the 3rd reprint for issue number 1.
Not surprised.
I wonder if my Mignola Rocket Raccoon number 1 is worth anything now with all that.
I don't know.
I'm sure Mike will buy it off you.
I don't want to sell it, but
if there's any time that it's worth something, it's now.
Yeah, I know. I don't think I buy comics and I don't think I'll ever sell them. Even the crap.
I feel the same way.
I've got stuff that nobody wants that I'm still attached to. So.
Me too.
So I don't know if we have a whole lot more time, but I did have one other note written down for something to get some input on.
Okay.
So I've only just started doing some videos. I think I've got like 6 videos up right now. But I did one the other day. I did one just kind of a random thing. I did a little sketch of Richard Attenborough as Kris Kringle from the remake of Miracle on 34th Street, and I was really happy with the way it turned out. I did it in like 2.5 hours, which is just like unheard of for me. And then, but I didn't record it, and I kind of regretted it. I was like, oh man, this thing just came out so great, and it was fast, and I should have recorded it. And then last night, I thought, well, I want to record this Star Wars piece, and I know a lot of people have been saying that, a lot of artists don't start their videos when they start from a blank page. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna just start penciling on camera. And like 2 hours into it, my phone ran out of video space. Like I didn't have anything to talk about, and I felt like, God, this has gone on forever, and I'm not even halfway through it. I'm gonna have to put this into like another video in another day. It was already late, and I started thinking, I was like, why did that other piece go so fast? And I was thinking it was because you didn't have a camera running, you weren't constantly second guessing what you were doing because people were watching, and I normally don't have the piece taped down in one place. I usually like to spin it around and do all that kind of stuff, and I couldn't do that when I was on video because I'd lock it down. And I was just kind of starting to question, like, is it better to try to get these videos out, or is it better to make better use of what little time I have, because I've got, my daughter will be 5 in October, so I've got a little kid, I've got a full-time job. I'm just trying to figure out, like, how to weigh those two things. I don't know.
I don't know. I think about that all the time, because I definitely slow down when I start video. And my answer to that was because I wanted to do videos, and back when I was doing them before, I was like filming the whole piece, not straight through, but I was like cutting the video, pieces together. So I'd film a little and then draw, and film a little and draw, and just the whole editing and everything took like a day to edit, So like when I started doing them this time, I was just like, I'm just turning the camera on, just talking, and they're just going to get what they get. And that's kind of been the answer to me, is just to kind of like cut down on the work it takes. Because I know, like, I see these guys doing the speed paints and stuff like that. I find that like to be a huge pain in the ass to have the camera there the whole damn time in the way,
Yeah,
I don't get
that's
lot
a problem too.
out of the speed paints.
You don't do it?
Watching the speed paints, that they don't have any commentary and it's just music playing. It's like you don't get so much by watching a drawing appear.
Yeah, they're kind of boring. I agree.
Just
I
fast
never was
forward
much
to
into
the
them.
end and see what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do with this Star Wars piece. I was trying to really make an effort to say, here's the pencil I'm using, and this is kind of how I'm framing this up, and here's the reference I chose, and all that kind of stuff. And I guess after a while, I just kind of peter out, where I'm just kind of like, all right, I go through these long stretches, and I realize I haven't said anything, but I can do that, deal with that stuff in the editing. But I agree. I mean, a lot of the speed painting stuff, it's cool, but like I don't feel like I get enough out of it. Like, he's not telling me why.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not getting the thought process. Like, I'm not getting the decision making. I bought that DVD of Drew Struzan doing the Hellboy painting, which I thought was great. But like, if I had to complain about anything of it, it was because it left out almost all the penciling phase. Like, you see him just doing a little bit of pencil from his like projector transfer, and then it's like straight on to inks, and I'm just like, wait, like I want to see you actually pencil this and talk about it, and they really just glossed over it.
Yeah, I have to have narration. Like, I don't know if you guys are the same way when you watch like a tutorial for any like whatever it's software. If it just sometimes they'll have them where they just have the text showing you what to do. I can't. I got it. Somebody's got to be telling me, explaining me in words, or else I'm just not interested.
Yeah.
I saw a tutorial recently where I guess the guy who did it was foreign or something, but he used just a computer voice thing.
Oh, I know who you're talking
oh my
about.
God, this is...
I've seen that guy.
I couldn't watch it.
The Drawing Hands, I think, right? That's his name?
I don't know. I've heard a couple of them like that. It's really funny.
I forget what it was, but it was like so bizarre. And
I think
it seemed like a scam.
Yeah, really. I think if you're asking like, if it's like worth it too, like to do video or to just concentrate on the art, because I've struggled with that too, and I really think that video honestly is worth it when I've looked at what's happened over the last 2 months, and just like the kind of thing that has built now behind like my videos and stuff compared to like my videos before, because I had videos for the longest time, and they got some hits and stuff, but nothing like what's happened here in the last few months, and I know my sales have went up because of that, So like, if you're asking like that kind of thing, if it's like worth it, I actually do think it's worth it to figure out some way to get something up on YouTube, because there's something about it. Like, I think when you're just talking straight to somebody, and I think that's the thing. It's not so much the speed paints or really like showing how awesome you are or even the awesome art. It's like something with that human connection that does it, you know?
I think if there's some way that I can, make it work to where it's not hindering the actual art, like if it takes me 3 days to finish something just because I've had to deal with the video, then that's probably not worth it. But like I said, if I can do, like if I could do something where I can kind of start it out, I can explain what I'm doing, I can show the reference, and I can do at least the initial rough sketch, and then maybe say, and now I'm going to skip ahead, turn the camera off for an hour, and then turn it back on when I'm at some other stage, instead of just like letting the thing just roll and roll and roll, and then I've got to deal with all that.
And I think not everything's got to be like a tutorial. I mean, I had that same kind of, impetus in the first. It's like, well, what do you talk about? Of course, you just talk about how you do it. But I found that, like, just as I went on, I think that people like identify more with like the other stuff than me telling them how, what kind of pencil I'm using and stuff.
Right.
So I don't know. And I find that too. I noticed like with new videos, there's like a new guy that I've been watching, Jonathan Myers, that's doing some pretty cool videos and stuff, and he's just totally like, all right, this is how I'm doing it, this is what I'm thinking. He's all about technique, and I just like, I listen to those things just like waiting for him to get past that and say something that I give a shit about, you know what I mean? Because it's like, yeah, I know, dude, I'm making a circle out of it, let's go, what's going on today, let's hear it. So I don't know.
Yeah, I try to come up with stuff like that, and like I said, I either get so focused on the piece that I forget that the camera's on, or I stress out too much about like actually talking about something. Like that when I was doing that one, I mean, I had a couple things that I could talk about. Like I had just gone to see Ghostbusters again in the theater, which was awesome. So I talked a little bit about Ghostbusters, which had nothing to do with the piece, but I was talking about something.
Right. Yeah.
Jeff, I don't know if you saw, but Scott did a video recently, came out Friday. He was talking throughout the whole video, and he's not listening to me right now. But no, okay. He did a really good job. Yeah, okay. He did a really good job of just talking and inking at the same time, and it was really natural. And I hit the mark sometimes. I'm off the mark other times. Like when I'm trying to draw and talk, it's not always easy. But Scott seemed like a really natural when he was doing it. So.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen that one. I saw there was like a couple of videos I missed of his, and I think that's in it with like my computer problems and shit. The last one I saw was like that freaking like space station he's built in his attic.
Oh.
What are you doing, man? That thing is so cool. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, because we were looking at this house, and I was married at the time, and I saw this. I'm like, this little door that led to this attic. I'm like, oh, I've got to build something out of this, and it's not that big, but I got to figure something out. And then the other thing I was going to do that didn't happen was there's also that's not really an attic. It's a little access door to where the air conditioning is. But in one of my kids' room on the ceiling, there's a hole that goes up to the actual attic.
Yeah.
And I was going to build this tree in the center of the room where you can climb up into the tree and go up into the attic, and it would be a tree house. But that never happened.
That is awesome.
Because it would literally have to sit in the center of the bedroom, this tree, which their room does have an artificial tree in it now. It's like a jungle theme room, but it's off in the corner. So.
Way to make the rest of us dads look bad.
I know.
I don't know how much my kids appreciate it because that's just, that's all they ever know. So I mean, it's mostly when their friends come over,
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I was just like blown away by that. I'm like, God, how much time did that take?
It took a while. I remember I was trying to do it for like a Christmas present for my son, and so I worked on it a little bit, and I'm like, I'm going to try to get this done by Christmas, and I just started busting my ass on it. And eventually I got to the point where he could go play in it. There was still a lot of like fine detail stuff to do in there, but yeah, so. But yeah, that was fun. I don't know if I'd want to do it again, but.
I like that you go big for that stuff, man. That's so cool. Like, you'd be lucky to get me to throw tack in the wall and hang a picture up.
That's why, when I got divorced, it was like I did not want to let go of this house because I've put so much work into it, and I don't want to start over. So luckily, I was able to keep it. So, but yeah, it's kind of kind of my work of art. I just live in it. So.
You should just run a Kickstarter and like buy a house just so you can make it into a fun house.
Yeah. That might be fun.
Well, I noticed that about like all your videos. I've noticed that right from the beginning, just because like I'm a house painter. I've noticed like all like the way your walls are painted, and there's like a lot of designs painted down on the walls. And then I remember seeing that the superhero thing that the collage thing that you painted around your thing, which I wasn't sure if that was posters hanging or if that was actually painted. And then you did the one where you showed it. And
I was going to ask you because I know that you said you did house painting. Did you do murals and things like that, or was it just straight house painting?
Pretty much straight painting. I did do a couple murals, but they were just super far in between,
Yeah, just because I tried to do it for a while because my theory was that if I could do a few, and the idea with murals, of course, people want to show them off, and they show them off, and then you can kind of build up more people that want to do it. And I've known people that have done it and were successful in it. And I even tried to hire like a guy just to market doing murals and stuff, but I just couldn't. I don't know. I just couldn't really get it going. But it seems like with the kind of painting and stuff you do, because I'm not a great painter by any means, but I mean I can do certain things like that. But I mean it just seems like, especially if you're already kind of in that house painting business, if you could do some more of that mural stuff, I mean it seems like it would be a natural thing for you. But I don't know.
You'd think. And I was always pushing it, and that was right on my business card. It was like Buller Paint Company, murals, faux finishes, all this stuff. And it was like the murals were lots of people to ask about them, but nobody'd want them.
Yeah.
I think it's a commitment. Like you dedicate like a whole wall of your house to something. It's like you really got to be on board with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that superhero mural that probably. It took years because that was a room that I didn't use, and I just worked on a little bit here and a little bit there, and then eventually I got closer, and I'm like, I'm just going to go ahead and set a deadline and finish it, and I did. So I don't know. Cool. But you got to have deadlines.
That's the other thing with my daughter. Like when my daughter was born, like I had this grand plan that I was going to do some kind of like artwork and stuff on her walls, and I never got around to doing it, and now it's like she's almost 5, so like anything I would have even done then, she wouldn't even be into now.
Yeah.
But I've seen some, like on Instagram, I've seen a couple guys do these really awesome like it's like a big tree with like Calvin and Hobbes sitting in it and stuff like that. And she recently just started picking up my Calvin and Hobbes books, which just like that's like dad nerdy joy right there. So I was like, now that would be something that I would do, like a big, Calvin and Hobbes or Peanuts or something like that. But yeah, and then 5 years later she'll just be like totally on to something else. So
yeah, I built for my daughter who's 9. Well, she's gonna be 10 next month or in October. But I built her a castle bed, and it's pink and purple and
wow.
She likes it, I guess, but I don't. She keeps asking, "Can we do something different? Can we paint it different or something?" So it's like,
yeah. Eventually they grow up. It just breaks your heart to have to paint over them. As a painter, I painted over a lot of murals.
Yeah, I painted over I think 2, and there used to be. In the room that's hers now, that's where the castle thing is, there used to be Winnie the Pooh, and I painted over that, and I actually filmed it. I should post it on YouTube. I think it's somewhere, but I filmed me like painting over it. It was so sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, we're all coming
Scott,
for like 2 hours. What's that?
Scott, you said you really wished you were here last time.
Yeah.
Is there anything specific that you wanted to bring up?
There was at the time. There were like 2 or 3 things I wanted to jump in on, and I can't think of them off the top of my head now. I think you guys might have brought up that art drop before. Did you bring that
We
up last?
did actually talk about that.
Yeah.
I thought you were here when we talked about it, but I guess not.
But yeah, that was one of them. I don't know. There are a couple other things, but I forget now. But
Okay.
That might be an interesting feature of the, if this continues to be an ongoing thing, a lot of podcasts might, start off their show with like follow up from the last show.
oh yeah.
So just like recap that, or if there was any outstanding questions, or like if anybody answered a question later that nobody got to hear.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. And it's also a good jumping off point too, because like when Peter started, he said he didn't really have a theme or a topic involved, and if none of us did, then we'd just be sitting here. So it's good to have something to kind of talk about, or even if you're picking up from before.
Yeah.
There's always something to talk about. That's the nature of the show.
Obviously. And it helps the more people that join. If it's just a couple of people, it's a little bit harder, but when you got more people in the chat, so.
Yeah, we should set the chat up, Peter, so that people can like comment and stuff. No?
You mean the Q&A?
Well, yeah. Isn't there like a way to set like a chat room up on YouTube or something? But you said you didn't do that.
Oh, you mean have people commenting on the YouTube channel?
Yeah, like when I watch other Google Hangouts, they like answer questions from the chat, and so I'm always like, and it's not just the people in the room, it's like people from YouTube, I guess. So, I don't know. Maybe I don't want to put any more work on you.
No, I can look it up. Seen Sycra doing a live stream on YouTube, and yeah, they're like reading comments, and it shows up differently on YouTube. I don't know. I'll look it up.
I don't know.
In Google Hangouts, you can open up this chat pane. I mean, it says it's group chat, but I wonder if you can open that chat to the public.
No, that's just us.
I think it's this Q&A button, because it's like when I click that, it says feature is disabled by Peter Palmiotti. I'm just kidding. It just says feature.
I could turn it on, and that's like anybody watching on YouTube can type in a question, and we could see it, or I could see it pop up.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just a thought.
Yeah.
I think if we picked up on the last topic, though, then we run into the danger of never getting off the subject of what movies we like.
So let's see. Well, we lost Marshall. I didn't realize.
Oh. Marshall bailed.
He didn't even say anything.
Marshall!
Well, I don't know. Maybe he has problems with his iPhone or something.
Somebody's got to go back for him. Like in Lawrence Arabia, we got to send one guy back into the desert.
So, John or Kristen, do you have any? I don't know what you did. You have any questions or input or?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
This week has been kind of stuff that I don't really have a lot of insight on, so it's been kind of the other people's show today, which is okay.
Yeah.
I can shut up once in a while.
I enjoy listening.
Just checking.
I like that piece you're working on there, John. That's pretty cool.
Thanks. I'm just calling this one finished. God, I hate coloring.
It looks good colored, though. You should do all your pages that way.
If I was faster at the whole coloring thing, making the comic color is still very, very tempting.
Yeah.
But no, this is actually for the other side project that I am starting up slowly but surely.
Oh, no kidding? You're going to like start like a second webcomic or what?
No. I'm starting a blog. It's called Mythic Histories. I've got a couple posts on it so far. And the whole idea of it is me and a couple of my friends are starting up a D&D campaign since 5th edition of that particular game just came out. And I'm going to be tracking the progress of it and kind of like how I build the campaign and create the game world, and I'm going to have as much art as I can fit into my schedule as part of it. So, yeah, so this is kind of the first piece that I got in on that for.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Trying some new stuff. Definitely the heavier inking style is a lot better, and I'm going to be moving the art style in the comic a little towards that. Coloring, I'm still working on. Colors are the devil's tool.
Yeah.
You can simplify color. You know, it doesn't have to be rendered and layered, and it could just be simple flat colors like the old comic book days. And you can do amazing things. You know.
I'm actually doing that for the. I'm still keeping it in black and white for the time being, but I am dropping the grayscale to like a flatter variety because it looks more striking.
Right.
You know, I did that tutorial as one of my Patreon bonuses a couple months ago.
Right.
And a friend of mine was looking it over and was like, "You really should just do that for your shading in the comic because it looks a lot more striking." I'm like, "You're kind of right." So
That's cool.
anyway, so yeah, you guys are seeing a preview of this
Nice.
thing.
Patreon exclusive. Oh, wait a minute, this isn't.
No, this is a YouTube exclusive for a while. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a thing that I did. How's that?
Cool.
So, how's your computer situation, Jeff?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I thought I kind of got some headway on it yesterday. The crashing thing's still going on. Like I had it running yesterday, like when we were talking on Skype, but then now,
Right.
like I'm back on my wife's computer, so I'm not quite sure. It's like I got it on, like I can get it going in like that safe mode with like networking, so it's like all my files are safe. That's like the main thing, and I'm just gonna kind of keep working on it on the side while I do my videos and stuff off my wife's computer for a while. So it's all working. It's just I don't know, not the way I wanted it to. So maybe I can get it figured out though and get it fixed. Who knows? My next thing is to like just do like a total Windows reinstall on it and see if that'll make it quit doing what it's doing. Damn computers.
They're great
Technology.
when they work.
Do you do any kind of like off-site backup or anything like that?
Yeah, I have a backup hard drive, but I wasn't just keeping up with it though. When all this stuff happened, and I don't know. One night was just really bad where I was transferring over I kind of like deleted out like my art file, basically the important file, and I was just like transferring it all over, and then it like crashed and I couldn't get it back up. That was like the really bad day. And I couldn't get the damn thing to start. I couldn't get it'd start up, but it wouldn't do anything but a black screen, and I don't know. Eventually I finally got it to go, and I got my files off of there, and I was like, oh, thank God, because that's all my prints and stuff. So that's just not good to lose.
Like constant backups to
What'd you say?
Time Machine, which is a separate drive, but then Time Machine
Oh.
on the Mac for this service called Backblaze, which is like an up, so it just a cloud, whatever. It takes forever to do the initial one, but like if my house burned down, they actually will send me another hard drive.
Oh, that's cool. So it's like goes into the cloud or whatever. I've thought about that too, but I don't know.
Yeah, It's I mean, I haven't had to really use it, but I know it's there. But like the time machine backups that I do on my Mac has saved my butt at least twice.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Looks like somebody else joined in. How you doing, stranger?
Anybody else?
What?
Oh no, that's John. Never mind. I guess I never saw your face, dude. I thought you were somebody else.
I know it's frightening and confusing. Deep breaths, slow down. We can get through this.
Oh man. No, you're not scary, dude. You look pretty normal to me.
I don't know. This hair is way out of control.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm probably gonna take off. I don't know how much longer we got to go, but I'm supposed to go to my brother's, and we're supposed to go play games and drink and all that stuff. So.
Well, we can wrap up, but I'm gonna leave that up to Jeff, because I know he wants to go longer when I want to cut it short. So.
I did say that. You listen to my videos too much, dude. No, I didn't mean it like that. No, I think this is a good length. Unless somebody's got something that we want to talk about, but if somebody wants to bring something else up, But I think this is a fine length. So I just meant that it just seems like time flies when we're on the Artcasters Chat.
Yeah,
That's what I meant by that. So.
I know what you meant. But okay, well, I know everybody's links. Andrew, I'm pretty sure I can find yours. So I'll put those into the description box. But I'll let everybody say whatever they want, and we'll close it out. So Andrew, you're up first.
Pretty much the best place to find me is atlantajones.com. My username is atlantajones pretty much everywhere, but you can find all of my links there.
Nice.
Okay. Did he freeze up? Oh, okay. And Jeff, we know you.
JeffLafferty.net.
Do you want to say
Facebook? Go and join it.
Yeah. Do you want to say anything about the challenge? You'll put up something this week?
Yeah, I'll put up something tomorrow and then make the video later this week, and I don't know. Tuesday probably do the drawing for the free drawing on my normal channel. So.
Right. Okay, and then we have John.
Yeah, I'm still known as Zombirai on the internets. Got my webcomic at everydayabnormal.thecomicseries.com. Also on facebook.com/everydayabnormal, and I have a Patreon. So if any of you guys want to check that out, that would be kind of cool. Not that I'm begging, but begging a little bit.
Thanks, John.
I couldn't hold that expression. That I tried.
Hey, and then we have Kristen.
Hello. You can find me at you can probably just search on YouTube Kristen Middleton 100-Day Challenge and find me there. But you can also find my blog. It's iswallowedaflycomic.blogspot.com. I'm also Art of Kristen Middleton on Facebook, and you can find me there. And hopefully I do intend to open up a webcomic page eventually, so hopefully if you follow me there, you'll be able to find the updates on that. But my little zine or mini comic is called I Swallowed a Fly, and if you follow me there, you can see it being worked on. So it's been a pleasure again.
Cool. Thanks for coming. And
No problem.
Scott.
Yeah, so Scott Circlin, you can find me usually just Circworks at whatever, the social media is, or network is. Circworks.com, and then I've got a contact page, and that lists all the different things I'm on. You can go there too. So, but it's either Scott Circlin, SERKLAND, or Circworks, SERKWORKS, and that's where you can find me. Or just Google me. That's the easiest way to do it.
Cool. And I am Peter Palmiotti, the host of this fabulous show. And you can Google my name and find me everywhere. Human Art Studios, Peter Palmiotti. Go to my Patreon page and support the show. And that's it. We'll see you again next weekend. Same
Bye,
different
everyone.
time.
Oh,
Yeah, humans.
see ya.
You guys.
See ya.